Hey, 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 it's time for Gintama. This time we got episode 274. Guys with big nostrils also have big imaginations, and you never accept a new Sentai series at the start. By the final episode, you don't want it to end. Hey, Fosh, say hello.
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
Alright, so, we went out of our way, we made this top three moments of the show, and I picked out a quote and all that stuff. But I'm just going to throw that all away. So, what do we want to talk about with regards to Gintama? Because I have an idea, but do you have anything you want to say?
I don't know, just to start when they make that funny poster about the parody was pretty funny. I like
No,
that.
no, no. I don't mean this specific episode. We could like make reference to it, but I don't want to talk about this episode. Let's just talk about Gintama as a show.
Oh well, as a show, I don't think it got great writing. Comedy's pretty good. I always say Gintama mixes the comedy and the serious and the drama and all that together pretty nicely. I haven't really
All right.
seen any other shonens do that as well
The
as
th-
Gintama.
yeah, the
Maybe
thing,
Hunter x Hunter, but that's about it.
hmm the thing I want to talk about was the fourth wall and how Gintama was always breaking it.
Uh huh.
Because and these two episodes were incredibly referential and incredibly fourth wall breaking, especially in the first one where, hey guys, let's think of a way to advertise our show. And
Right,
it's
sell
like,
Blu-rays and
but
all
why?
that.
Yeah, but it's like let's like analyze this. Like let's to someone. I doubt there's someone who listens to this and doesn't watch Gintama. Let's be honest. If you're listening to this and you don't watch the episode, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
mean
like,
that's true.
why do you think that this total disregard for the fourth wall? Why do you think it works?
I think it works because it's just fans like the whole idea that they can relate to some of the real roles they talk about. Such as when it came back, they did a parody on that politician and all that. I think
Hmm
it's very political sometimes. They can hit things like that and kind of poke fun at things. And I've
Yeah.
never seen their show do this. I mean, this is a parody series. Sket Dance tried to do something like this, but it didn't really do, in my opinion, what Gintama could do as far as fourth
Well,
wall
the
breaking.
Scott Dance guy he was an assistant of
Right? Yeah.
Gorilla Sensei before becoming the Sket Dance guy,
Uh huh.
and Sket Dance ended like a year or two ago,
Right.
well before Gintama was ever going to end.
Uh huh. But the fourth wall breaking thing is just, again, that's something that I've never seen anime do very often. It's
Yeah.
something that happens in certain shows, but not
hmm
as, Gintama does it more than anyone else. And
I mean,
I would even throw maybe Marvel Comics. I've been reading a lot of Deadpool. And
hmm
the way they do it in Deadpool is also funny. Almost the same way they do it in Gintama, where the character will say something knowing that he's an anime character, or knowing that he's a comic book character.
hmm
Someone's writing the story, they can always fix it later. If I get killed, they can bring me back. They make jokes like that all the time. So it's like in Gintama, it's almost similar. They can do anything they want. It's a lot of freedom, I would say.
yeah, the way I like to compare it is I like to compare, and the Deadpool reference works very well too. I like to
Hmm.
compare it to South Park.
Right, South Park's a good one too.
Because why do people like South Park? South Park it doesn't hold anything back when it's parodying anything.
Uh huh.
There's nothing that it won't go to. Like if they're gonna take on Scientology, they'll take on Scientology. And obviously, Gintama's not a social commentary thing
Hmm.
nearly to the degree that South Park is. But
Right.
like there was a joke they made in this specific episode about Chage and Asuka. Do you know who they are?
I don't think so, but I think I would say writers probably.
No, they're a pretty famous pop duo, and they
Uh huh.
make some pretty good stuff. There's a very famous music video of theirs that was actually made by Hayao Miyazaki.
Uh huh. Well.
But one half of them, Asuka, he's in jail for doing some I think it was cocaine or maybe meth. But the point is, like, Japan has some really strict anti-drug laws, especially if you're celebrities.
Uh huh.
Like, if you're Lindsay Lohan and you're caught with cocaine, you pay off the right people and you're scot-free.
Right.
In
Yeah.
Japan, like, they they take everything from you. Like, they were supposed to release this music video because remember, like last year, Ghibli was releasing all their Blu-rays.
Right.
They were supposed to release this back then too, but this whole thing happened. Asuka got sent to jail, so now this video is probably never going to be legally made available, and it looks pretty darn sweet.
Right. Yeah. I do hear that before. The laws over there are very strict. And things like
But
that.
we're getting off track. The point I was making is like, yeah, this guy who maybe the Japanese media wouldn't want to talk about, or it's like, man, we can't really talk about Chaga and Asuka anymore because Asuka's in the shitter. It's like, yeah, Gintama's going to do that. And That's one of the other things. And the other thing is like just how glib I want to say. No, it's like how I think what sells it is that like everyone knows that they're making parodies, and like all the characters more or less get into it because like you see other shows like No Game No Life. I remember that show. Like they had a couple like JoJo references and a couple Miyazaki references, and like you could spot countless different references in that show. I barely remember any because it's a forgettable show. The point I'm making though is that like, what's the point of a reference in that show? The point is like, oh, you get this cute little visual gag where the characters are drawn like a JoJo character, or they're drawn like a character from Laputa, and like it's a joke that lasts for about 10 seconds. Like, or it's like, for instance, I don't know, it's a joke. Hey, this is like that other thing, and it's like, but they stop there. That's the thing where it's like with Gintama, like they just go all the way with it.
Yeah, there have been several episodes in the past where they make a Bleach joke, and the whole episode's about the Bleach joke. Yeah. About them, playing on that.
The best example is, okay, let's make a parody of Kuroko's basketball. Not only are we going to get the voice actor of Kuroko to show up in our show, and we're going to have the characters not only notice that, hey, I think I've seen that guy in another show, and hey, aren't you dressing like that guy in that other show? And hey, aren't you using that guy's special techniques from that other show?
Right, yeah.
It's just like the willingness to go completely out of the way. And like, they don't do it all the time. Because like, I remember that episode where like they were teaching history and like they make a throwaway comment to a manga I love, Hana Takeshi. And it's like, it's a throwaway comment. And like, if it was just a throwaway comment, I'd be like, all right, I get it. But then you're right. They have the episode where they're in Ichigo's Bankai world. They have the episode that's filled to the brim with Star Wars references and Gundam references.
That one.
And it's just like their willingness to go totally all in on these references. I think that's one of the things that separates them, because like it's a reference made because hey, you're gonna get that reference, and like there's a lot of references they do to Japanese politicians and other things that's like only a Japanese person would get it. Like you'd have to explain to me who that guy was that Gintoki was parodying. I can't even say that word. You'd have to explain to me who that guy is.
Right,
because like I don't know instinctively. Oh, this is that famous guy who did that famous speech, where like a Japanese person gets it, and then they're like, and like the Shonen Jump editors were tweeting like, "Oh man, I can't believe they actually went and did this. How did editor San even stand to do this?"
Yeah, they do get away with a lot of things, and like I said before, when they parody something, they're going to not only use it, they're gonna make it a running thing. I think the last arc we just saw like 2 episodes worth of Kuroko no Basket jokes, using it and taking it to the next level, and keeping it as like make it almost canon that Kuroko's character is in this series. He's this other character, but yeah, I like how they do that, and even there's some moments from I remember back in the past when Ichigo did his final Bankai. Like the week after that, Gintoki did the same thing in an episode at the end where he's like, let's just go with this, and he transforms. Not really using it to kill anybody, but he just wanted to transform. Just for the sake of it, because it's relevant. And I think that's what they're doing with this. Like JoJo, at the time when it was coming out, all these shows were taking shots at JoJo, making jokes, making parodies of it. There are several shows that do the JoJo thing now. It's like a common thing. And so now it's like, again, Gintama will probably do the same thing eventually, where they're I know they've done JoJo episodes before in the past, but yeah, they do the parodies pretty well. I like that whole thing.
There was I remember it was when they went to the onsen, like the onsen of ghosts, and like there were stands in that.
That's what I was hearing. Yeah,
stand jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing I want to talk about Gintama. It's like the tonal change, because like 90% of the time, this is a comedy to like the bones. Like
yeah, definitely.
They're making jokes about other manga. They're making jokes about shamed politicians, etc., etc. But like occasionally they get into like those serious arcs where like a character dies, or it's like someone comes into the show that totally changes the status quo. Like they're totally serious, but like sometimes for me, like sometimes I buy it, sometimes I don't.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I'm thinking like I don't know. Do you remember the Onmyoji arc?
I think so. It sounds familiar.
It was when Gintoki's favorite weather reporter secretly turns out to be a demon fighter,
Hmm.
and they have to go fight off her ex-husband or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, it starts off with a lot of funny jokes, but then like, the last episode is super serious. Like a minor character who only shows up for that arc dies, I'm pretty sure, and it's like, they're really serious, but I don't buy it. But like other times, like when Okida's sister shows up, like she only shows up for that arc. She's not mentioned before it, and she dies, and she's not mentioned after it. It's like I felt that one really pulled it off. So it's like, do you think there's something about when Gintama's doing a serious arc that really works for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole package, I think. The acting, the music, the character, the animation, all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of plays in the effect where something serious is going down. You can tell when it's going to be super serious. When the music
Mm-hmm.
is playing, there's probably a character maybe on screen crying or something's going on. Character's
Mm-hmm.
dying or something. And they do it really well. I mean, for me, I like those moments a little bit better than maybe the slapstick comedy ones, which are fun and all, but after a while, you kind of want something more. I think that's what why they change it up every once in a while. But so as far as the series goes, yeah, there are moments where it's like it kind of does kind of balance, a little off balance when it's trying to be a little bit of both at the same time. It wants to be comical
Mm-hmm.
while being serious at the same time. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
hit or miss depending on the arc. Like you said, if it's a character that just comes out of the blue out of nowhere, which we have
Mm-hmm.
no established background for them, like if they brought in Cube, which isn't a really big character, but he is a
Mm-hmm.
character. So I mean, if they killed her off, you'd be like, wait, that's kind of a surprise. Like,
Yeah.
but like you said, if it's a character that we just met like an hour ago, we probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Gintama is known as a comedy, but like the people who've been following it for all nearly 300 episodes know, like, occasionally they get into really tonal whiplash, which like it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. And it also depends on you. Like the Obi-Wan Kenobi arc, I
Uh-huh.
thought that worked pretty well, and I
Right. Yeah.
thought that was pretty good. But like other ones, like the Onmyoji arc, it's like I don't really buy it as much.
Hmm.
And like both of those arcs, like they didn't really change the status quo of the show at all. But they were entertaining. Both of them were entertaining in different ways. But it's like, yeah, I like this enough. And obviously, it's never Gintama's never. But as far as like I can remember, maybe I've blocked out the memory, but I don't think Gintama's ever butchered an arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they ever have. I mean, they have. I would say they probably aren't, 100% the
Mm-hmm.
best. They don't have the best writers ever, but they have,
Mm-hmm.
several arcs that are kind of maybe hit or miss, depending on
Yeah.
what your involvement and investment is. I think the one about Star Wars and Gundam was a hit or miss arc. For me, it was fun because I like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who's not a Gundam fan or doesn't like Star Wars, they probably wouldn't like that. So
Yeah.
even the Obi-Wan stuff, it's cool and all, but if you're not a fan of the original character, maybe you don't probably won't give any cares about that
Yeah.
character. So it's like, oh, just them making fun of Star Wars. Move
Mm-hmm.
on. Like they don't really think it's a bond they can make with that character. Which, again, like you said before, a character that we didn't really know about kind of comes
Mm-hmm.
in this arc, but we established a connection with him because he's around for more than an hour,
Yeah,
more
but
than one episode, I would say.
be honest with yourself, Ash. For someone to have reached the Star Wars arc, they have to be all in at that point because
Right?
that's
Yeah.
over like 150 episodes in.
Yeah, that's around the time where you kind of realize that Gintama can do a lot of things differently than other shows can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Like, I don't want to say it was series this season because we'll probably go into a big rant about it. But there are certain shows this season that don't really balance the whole. Do they want to be a drama? Do they want to be a comedy? Do they want to be, they can't really
Let's
figure
save
it out.
that for the season recap
Right.
episode.
That's
Shit
fine.
over the shows that you, the listener, love, but we hate.
Right, but even this episode we had this week, we had them trying to clean up the Kabuto district, whatever. They even that,
Kabuki-cho.
yeah, that
Kabuki-cho.
district. They're trying to fix it and make it more presentable. Was kind of a little bit of serious stuff here and there that they want to save their area they live in, but at the same time making a joke about it,
Yeah.
which really was done pretty well, even with Tay being kind of the main focus. It was kind
Yeah.
of different for Gintama, I would say.
So we talked about like this was more of a general like why do we like Gintama?
Hmm.
And it's like I wanted and like this wasn't a bad episode by any means. I laughed quite a bit.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's
that's
like-
what when Gintoki was making the mascots, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious how he can take something like that and just run with
Mhm.
it for I would say a good 15-20 minutes of an episode.
I don't really want to like go into like all the jokes, but like let's just like read the we like if you're listening to this and you've bothered to listen to any others, we like to write down 3 things we liked from the episode. So just like Fosh, just run through the 3. You don't have to explain them. Don't go into any details. Just like say what they are, and then I'll say my 3.
The parody at the beginning, I guess focusing on a video game, was pretty funny. The poster ideas.
Mother Earth.
Yeah, it was Mother and Earthbound. I guess making fun of them. And the second one would be chins. They made a big joke about chins because obviously the people that are, I guess, the drag characters there. Obviously, guys that are chicks.
Do you want me to explain the chin thing?
Sure, go for it. You have it there on your thing too.
Yeah, the chin guy, he's a pretty famous wrestler in Japan named Antonio Inoki.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that he's most famous for is that he had the most infamous one of the most infamous mixed martial arts matches where it was him versus Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
But the fight was not rigged, but like there was a bunch of rules, like Inoki can't grapple and he can't do any like takedowns, which is like what a wrestler does. And against Muhammad Ali, you can't really fight him fist to fist. So what he ended up doing was basically he lay on his back for the entire fight. It was just like scooting around the floor of the ring kicking him, and this went on for 15 rounds. And it's like, it's infamous as like the lamest fight in history, like maybe even lamer than the Patacchio one that everyone's shitting on who cares about boxing, because I don't really care about boxing, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like famous because like it's a super high profile, like Inoki was one of the biggest guys in Japanese pro wrestling.
Right.
Muhammad Ali is one of the biggest names in boxing history ever, probably bigger than Tyson or Mayweather.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like these 2 titans of the field have the lamest fight you've ever seen. Like, it's on YouTube and you could just like, you see the guy on his back for like 15 minutes. He's like, okay, I'm going to do a sliding kick and I'm going to kick you while laying down. Round 1 over. I'm going to do a sliding kick and I'm going to kick you while I'm down. Round 2 over. It continues for 15 rounds and it's like, it's the lamest fight ever, but it's like historically significant for some crazy reason.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my last one would be Tei, Shinpachi's sister. You don't really want her on your bad side because she'll make your life living hell. And she proved that with this Katsuo guy who I guess got in trouble for copyright infringement for copying and selling those mascots.
Yeah, that teddy bear it's basically like, I don't know, it's kind of like a Cabbage Patch things, like we know they're, it's more like a Hello Kitty thing.
Right.
It's another one of those mascots that sells a million different things in Japan, and it's like, and like the thing it's named after is like Real Kuma or something. It's like, it's a relaxing bear and you're supposed to look at it and be like, yeah, I feel at ease. And like, as someone who's had a teddy bear since he was less than 1 year old, like, yeah, teddy bears are pretty relaxing. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I took it more like he basically knocked off like a Mickey Mouse toy and was like, hey, look, I'm selling it. He named it the same name without realizing copyright.
Oh, don't worry about that. Mickey Mouse is still super big in Japan.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But I just thought it was funny with Tei. She comes off as this, adorable character who's just nice girl, but no, she's got a pretty wicked dark side. If you cross her, she will not think twice to, get revenge.
It's more like she has the same tone of voice whether she's like politely talking to you or punching you through a wall.
Right, exactly.
She keeps the same tone of voice.
Yeah, I can agree. That's funny.
Go with yours. My top 3. Number 3 is To the Summit of Mount Elizabeth and The Poor Gorilla Author.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 was Rip Asuka, who I took a long time to explain. And number 1 was The Chin of the Champion, which, again, I just went into a long explanation of why that was my choice.
Yeah, and speaking on that chin part, I thought the CGI part was kind of funny. This infinite loop of chins. It
looked
funny.
Like the Brain Age guy?
Yes, I think so.
It kind of looked like that, but just like popping out of his own chin.
Yeah, I would say that it was, yeah. And the other guy was popping out of his head or something. Like this doll, Russian doll, whatever, and it just kept going. It was just
the Matryoshka dog.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we take our leave, I like this quote. I'll keep on going with the quote of the show.
Yeah.
Why not? And this quote: "The Super Rookie suddenly got beaten. Oh my God!"
Yeah, that's pretty funny. And then again, gets thrown to the wall.
Yeah, that's the story of every shonen manga, after all.
Yeah, and I always like the thing with character that bleeds from like the forehead. It's just
Mhm.
always a big shonen thing, too. It's like, oh, bleeding from the forehead. And the last thing I'll mention here for the extra is this gender bent art coming up soon that I've heard a lot of
It's
hype
good.
about. And
It's
even,
really
yeah,
funny in the manga.
from manga readers, I always hear them they're always saying that, is it that arc yet? And they always say, like, they don't want to spoil it, but they always say the gender bent arc is pretty funny, has some pretty funny moments. I did take a peek at the manga and I did see something funny with Shinpachi. So I won't say
Mhm.
anything what happens to him, but I thought it was pretty funny. But,
He's drop dead sexy, or she, or
right,
is it weird that I'm attracted to female Gintoki?
no, I mean,
Is it
it,
weird? I hope it's not weird, but I feel really creepy about it. Ah!
no, but I don't think so. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm also wondering if the voice actor is going to stay the same for each character,
uh,
even if they're gender bent.
you want to take a bet on this?
I would say
I think
50-50 on
they're
that.
going to keep the voice actors.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I hope so. Cause I know,
Oh,
I know.
want to hear Tomo, whatever his name
Yeah,
is,
it's
keep
Sugata.
up with just
Yeah.
doing like a high-pitched voice?
Oh yeah, I want to see if he can.
Well, actually, here, let's bet on this. Do you think they'll keep their same tones, or do you think they'll like be more high-pitched or low voice
Oh
when they
yeah,
change?
that's a good one. I would hope to keep
I
the same
think
tone. That'd be hilarious. That'd be
I
funny.
think it'll be the actors.
Acting
It'll
female.
be the actors, but they'll be doing like higher pitched or lower pitched on their gender change.
So I'm curious about Kagura. I really want to see if her actor can do the whole. But she has played a lot of boy characters. I mean, Kekai, she's playing a guy character right now. She plays black.
Leo?
Yeah, she plays.
Oh, she's black.
Yeah,
That's
she
right.
plays black and white. So she can do the boyish character because she does play a lot of. She also plays a lot of kids. So I mean, a lot of kids can be both
Oh
guy
yeah,
and girl.
she's got that really youthful
Yeah,
voice.
exactly. So I'm wondering
Mm.
that, but a lot of characters I'm wondering, but yeah, I'm really excited to see that one. I heard it's really
Well,
good.
you know what? When we do our next recording, one of us is going to be wrong, one of us is going to be right, and the loser will have to serve the winner for life. Because that's how these things work. That's anime, right?
Right.
All right. Don't go back on your promise now.
All right. Well, see you guys next week for episode 275. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So,
All right. Bye-bye.
see.